Shalom. Shalom. First off, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah, Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, whose labors we have entered into. Shalom to the elect, beginning with the 144,000. And to all the brothers and sisters tuning in, may this lesson be edifying and uplifting to your spirits. This is the brother Halalyum from the Great Millstone branch of Chicago coming at you with another lesson in truth. And, Esau, Edom, his secret societies are no longer a conspiracy theory. The idea that was deemed as a conspiracy theory for so long, these devils of the financial elite, Edomites of, the Western world, gathering together in these secretive places and, discussing, their plans for how they're going to completely take control of our future, being involved in satanic rituals like it was described in the Epstein files. All of these things, if you would have mentioned these things, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, people would call you crazy. But now with all this info that's being exposed on the financial elite, of Babylon, via things like these Epstein files, which expose these devils for, being a bunch of cannibals, eating babies, worshiping Satan, and things of that nature. Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, beginning with the elite billionaire class, the bankers are being exposed on all fronts, man. And it's only a matter of time before they're punished for their actions and their crimes, against the Lord's earth and against the apple of his eye as people. But it is from 10 News in Australia. It says, hacktivists expose secret society. So I'm going to let this video play.
Societies, they often come up in secret societies. They often come up in conspiracies or in the plot of a movie. But thanks to some work of some hacktivists, we've got a first look into how one really operates. It's called Dialogue, and it's a private, invitation-only group co-founded in 2006 by billionaire Peter Thiel. Within the trove of information accessed were the names of hundreds of participants, including sitting Trump officials, Elon Musk, and the president of OpenAI. These influential figures gather at annual retreats, including sessions labelled Bring Back Nuclear, Navigating World War III, and Build a Party, run by a former White House national security official. The hacker Maya Arsen-Krimu had previously exposed the US government's no-fly list and breached surveillance company Verkada. Dialogue's digital footprint is hard to spot, although a report by Axios last year showed it's lining up a major expansion with plans to build a campus in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. as a permanent hub for off-the-record meetings. None of the individuals named in the leak have responded for comment, showing their commitment to the secret in secret society.
So there you have it, a secret society, of the financial elite of America, being exposed by, a hacker. And, although it didn't really directly mention any, criminal or illegal activity, the fact that this organization, the fact that Esau Edom's organizations are secret, already insinuates that, illegal activities are being done. Just knowing the nature of Esau, Edom, all this information that's circulating on the things that he's done, we know for a fact that there's nothing good about a secret society, man. In the Israelite culture, there's no, that's not a part of, Israelite culture, man. There are no secret societies. Our culture is a culture of, reproof, rebuke, being amongst the brotherhood and fellowshipping amongst each other openly. But these devils, they operate in secret. Why? Because there are wicked acts and, wicked plans that they want to put forth in motion. And there's info from the AI overview. It says the secret society founded by billionaire Peter Thiel, is called Dialogue, operating as an invite-only organization since 2006. It functions as an elite off-the-record network for tech executives, venture capitalists, and political figures. It says, leaked records reveal that over 200 high-profile individuals belong to the network. Participants include high-ranking Donald Trump administration officials, U.S. senators, and U.S. tech billionaires like Elon Musk. Annual off-the-record retreats feature controversial panels with titles such as Navigating World War III, Build a Cult, and How's Your Sex Life? And, based on, the Epstein files and what that reveals about the elite class of America, in which many of people's names mentioned in the files are a part of this group as well, we know, what their sex life consists of, getting down on, young defenseless children, man. But check this out. It says right here, Jeffrey Epstein connections. It says Jeffrey Epstein was linked to the network because his name and communications surfaced in both the files and records associated with the dialogue. It says in 2014, Harvard physicist Liza Randall emailed Epstein an invitation to the dialogue retreat to ask if it was a worthwhile event. Epstein responded positively, replying, Sundance is nice. So, there are many powerful connections within this group. Esau Edom is known, openly now for, trying to push forth his wicked acts in the dark. But like the scripture says, all that is done in the dark will be revealed in the last days, man. This is Isaiah 29:15. It says, woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? And that's the attitude that these devils carry. The Apostle Gabar, mentions in his lessons that what makes Esau Edom, so powerful on the left-hand side is his secrecy. His ability to, retreat from society and make plans for our future in the dark. And the next thing you know, you walk outside of your house, waking up in the morning after brushing your teeth, and you see all these data centers everywhere, draining up all the water, using the water to cool down all these millions of computer servers that's receiving all this information, completely destroying your life. And they gather together in secret and they discuss their plans for more surveillance and power. And their aim and their goal is to achieve world domination via the NWO system and, the Revelation 13:16, the RFID CHIP, the charagma, the mark. It says, verse 16, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So Esau Edom's turning of things upside down will only be esteemed as the potter's clay, which means what? Who is the potter? The ultimate potter is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And the clay represents all of his creations on the earth. And just like, any other, human being, whether it be the sons of God, which are the Israelites, the sons of men, the heathen, and the sons of wicked, the Edomites, we all represent that clay. And he's made, Israel for his purpose to be a special chosen people. And Esau Edom, the Lord has also molded him for his own purpose as well, which is to what? To be a vessel of dishonor, like it says in not Revelation, but Romans chapter 9. I'll go straight to the point. It says, Romans 9:21, have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? What if the Most High, willing to shew his wrath and make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? So Esau Edom, he is the main vessel of dishonor and wickedness in the earth. He's the most wicked, condescending. This is the most wicked, condescending group of people on the entire planet. And they're willing to go lengths that most people wouldn't dare go in order to achieve power. Whether it be being a part of these secret societies, performing satanic rituals on the left hand side. And all of these things, like I said earlier, these things are no longer a conspiracy theory, man. The days of you being able to call somebody crazy for telling you that the elite of America are a bunch of, pedophile, cannibal sickos and psychopaths, those days are over. The entire world is bearing witness to the truth, man, of who this devil is and his true nature. There's the book of Psalms, chapter 64 and 2, and it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and they fear not. So the wicked say, King David said, what? Deliver me from the secret counsel of the wrongdoers, man. Because what is the main goal of Esau, Edom, the elites, when they, attend these secret councils? What is their main goal? This is the book of Psalms 83. And verse 1, it says, a psalm of Asaph, keep not thou silence, O Lord, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. It says, the tabernacles of Edom, Salakia, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. So, these heathens, they have consulted together to completely destroy us, man. And that is their main goal. That's why they attend these secret meetings of these secret societies, man. We the Israelites being the main, enemy of Esau, Edom, and him being our main enemy, his goal is to destroy us, man. And when it mentioned, the divisions of the heathen nations that gather up against us, who does it specifically mention first? Esau, Edom. Because he's consistently been the main one to, destroy the earth and, try to destroy the Lord's people, the Lord's chosen, the Israelites, in which the primary body of the Israelites consists of the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indian. The people that this devil, the so-called white man has consistently tried to target over and over again throughout history, even onto this very present day. There's the book of Luke, chapter 12, in verse 2. It says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be made, that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. That's right, man. Esau, Edom is being exposed before the entire world. The Lord is taking the veil off this devil and revealing his wickedness, revealing his sin, revealing his true devilish nature, revealing his true intentions, and revealing his plans on what he plans to do to the world, man. And his attempt to try to subdue the entire earth under his rulership, that all, nations of people should obey them, should obey him. And eventually, in the very near future, the elite of America, the elites of Esau, Edom will try to establish the NWO system, man. That was best believe, man. That was the main focal point of these meetings, man. Although it mentioned, things like, them discussing nuclear weapons, World War III, which we currently see, brewing right now as we speak. Best believe, man, in these discussions with this secret group called the Dialogue, best believe that the MOTB was mentioned, man. Especially when you factor in that Elon Musk was a part of the group. He's the owner of Neuralink, the company that specializes in computer CHIP interfaces. I ended off with the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." So the man of sin is being revealed right now. In the NOT it says what? The man of lawlessness. That's Esau Edom all day. He is the main man of sin throughout the earth. Although there is, evil amongst every nation, including ours, you got these niggas running around committing all these evil acts. On a global scale, who has the most skeletons in their closet? These Edomites, beginning with the elite. And their crimes they've committed against humanity. And these secret meetings that they hold, in their foolish attempts to try to gain control of humanity and all of its resources, man. Even when he has, enough to sustain himself for a lifetime, Esau Edom is insatiable. He cannot be satisfied, like it says in the book of Habakkuk. Verse 4 says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in this time. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders." And that's how Satan is not just referring to, the spiritual demons that, enter into people's bodies and cause them to bug out. There is a race of people upon this earth that do the bidding of Satan on the left-hand side. And who are the main ones doing that? Esau Edom, beginning with the elites, man. They are the ones that do the bidding of Satan on the earth. In order to do that bidding, they can't do it out in the open, so what do? They set up secret societies so that they can discuss their plans for wickedness in the darkness, man. Away from the sight of the public. But I hope this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakha Kodash, double honors for the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Kwame Sha'ala, Wa Abba Babal. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing.